Welcome back to Trading with CJ. Let's talk about one of our favorite penny stocks on this channel. We have some big updates around them. We are talking about Hitid, ticker symbol HITID. When we spoke about this a lot in the past, it was HITIF. We had this one reverse split and it become HITID, and now, as of right now, you can see without wasting any time right here, Nasdaq approves Hitid's application to list. If you appreciate all these updates, please go ahead and smash the like and subscribe to my channel as well. And in this article right here, Hitid becomes the first major publicly traded cannabis retailer to announce it has been approved to trade on the Nasdaq. This is massive news for Hitid. We've been covering this one for such a long time now on our channel. It still remains one of my favorite penny stocks to buy. It's growing revenue. It's got lots of acquisitions as well. We've covered this one so many times. Check out some previous videos. However, now it has another massive catalyst. It is now part of the Nasdaq. So if you was worried about this one on the OTC markets, don't worry, fear not. This is now on the Nasdaq. And it says shares expected to begin trading on the Nasdaq from June the 2nd. So very close before it's trading, but it has been approved. Okay, so officially now Hitid is going to be on the Nasdaq. And it's received approval for the Nasdaq to list its common shares under ticker symbol HITI. So we had HITIF, HITID. Now we're going to get rid of that HITI, okay, Hitid. So this is great news for Hitid. If you're wondering what the hell this means, this basically means this gives it more exposure to other companies. Not all brokerages trade OTC stocks. So now that Hitid is on the Nasdaq, this gives it much more exposure to new investors in this company, and it's a massive catalyst for them for sure. From the CEO here, 𝐏𝐚𝐭𝐫𝐞𝐞, who we've spoke about so many times, I'm immensely proud that less than 3 years after its inception, Hitid will become the first major publicly traded cannabis retailer to be listed on the Nasdaq. The listing makes our shares more accessible to a larger audience of both retail and institutional investors and enhances our ability to pursue larger MMA targets. And that is right there is from CEO 𝐏𝐚𝐭𝐫𝐞𝐞. I want to thank all of our shareholders for the patience and confidence that they have shown in our team as we've been working through the approvals process. Listing our shares on the Nasdaq is not an end in itself, rather it marks the beginning of a new chapter. So for those people who are buying in this one for a quick catalyst, okay, you may see some people sell out right here, but to be honest, we was buying this one regardless of the Nasdaq listing. They've been smashing the numbers in Canada regardless, and they're going to be expanding into the US as well in terms of brick and mortar stores as well. And with the US on the verge of hopefully some legalization going on right there, this could be another massive catalyst here for Hitid. And this has been getting touched on lots of news outlets. You can see this one, Benzinga, cannabis retailer Hitid to commence trading on the Nasdaq. It was covered on Benzinga. It was covered on MJ Biz Daily, marijuana retailer to get the green light for the Nasdaq. A lot of people are talking about this one, okay. This one is smashing its numbers in Canada as well. I spoke about a few different cannabis stocks, but this one is by far my favorite, okay, on my channel anyway, and it has been growing rapidly. We can actually see the share price right now. We currently trade at $8.80, ticker symbol HITID, and over the course of the past 5 days, you can see this one sitting on nice gains, around about 15% over the last 5 days. And we're on the verge of approaching those all-time highs again. We are still down about 20% from the all-time highs, which would have been in February time, around about $11.70. Of course, it wasn't, okay, it was a lot less. It was less than $1, but after the big reverse split they've had, it has obviously uplisted, so it's altered the price with that. So the current price would be $11.70 at reverse split prices. So that's just what's going on with this company. We are at 880. We're seeing a bit of consolidation pretty much at this price from mid-April, which is pretty good to see. You know, a lot of penny stocks are down right now. Hitid is consolidating, holding its own, that's for sure. And we can actually see on their Twitter page here, this was from 𝐷𝐚𝐿. Today we announced that we have been approved for the listing on the Nasdaq, and with shares to start trading on June the 2nd. I'm so grateful to everyone who supported us on this journey since we started the company in 2009. It's still a relatively new company in the grand scheme of things. This is just a start. The best is yet to come, and I believe so too as well. We spoke about their earnings, previous earnings as well, recent earnings so many times, and the numbers are growing rapidly as well. We've also spoke about, you know, the US legalization, which is potentially on the horizon, as well as other countries. We spoke about in our previous video as well, UK, Switzerland, all these different companies. CBD or cannabis sales are going up, regardless of whether it's, you know, 100% legalized or medical use, etc. The sale numbers are going up. And this right here is the cannabis world is still eagerly awaiting the introduction of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer's comprehensive descheduling and legalization. But that doesn't mean things haven't been moving on the policy front in recent weeks. And that they have, exactly, just because we're not 100% legalized right now and stuff, things have to get going. There's a shift going on right now in this industry. We even spoke about the 420 sales. They were through the roof, okay? Of course, we expect them to be slightly higher on the 420, but they were absolutely through the roof for Hitid. And regardless of that, the numbers have been growing for this company. This was actually a recent tweet from Hitid. 2020 was also a great year for Fabricad, which is one of their recent acquisitions, Smoke Cartel, and Gaxy, two more recent acquisitions as well within the past year. The US cannabis industry has a breakout moment during the pandemic, with legal sales topping 17.5 billion in 2020. This company currently has a market cap of 519 million. That is in Canadian dollars right there. So you can see there's a massive opportunity for Hitid. Not to mention a bit more recent news, just a very quick update here, but Raj Grover put this one. Big thanks to our investor and banker partners for their support. We now have another 23 million in firepower to fuel further growth. Okay, so the more funds going on right there, it carries on talking about its NASDAQ, which of course, as we know, has now been approved. We are moments away, okay, we're a couple of days away now from this NASDAQ listing, which of course, okay, is that priced in? Potentially at this point, we thought they were going to get it, okay, they had the uplist, they had the reverse merger, and now they have been approved to go on the NASDAQ. But over time, this is a great thing for Hitid. We may see a bit of a sell-off, in potentially the next coming weeks, but that doesn't matter to me. I'm holding this one regardless of the current price, happily building on my position as well. This company is one I'm very fond of, and I think it has a lot of room to grow, not just in the longer term, but also in the shorter term as well. In the next year onwards, I really do believe Hitid has massive potential to take the market by storm. It is smashing numbers in Canada, it's expanding into the EU, and it's going to start getting more brick and mortar stores, etc. in the US. Not to mention their online sector is growing as well, okay? Lots of new acquisitions in terms of their online e-commerce websites. So yeah, massive great news for Hitid. We can see the price is currently at 880 at the time recording this one. But yeah, I do think it has lots of potential to grow over the next year or two. But with that being said, I am not a financial advisor. Always do your own research when investing into a company. Let me know your thoughts on Hitid, and if you appreciate all these updates, please go ahead and smash the like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time.